This video was made possible by GamersGate.com. Download games anytime, anywhere. Skip it up and that up. I love when people try to twist positive news into something negative for a fanboy agenda. I've seen so many people, so in case you haven't known, this is relatively old news now, which means it's a whopping 24 to 48 hours old, but that's how news is. Killzone Shadowfall, which is a PS4 launch title, can handle 24 different enemy AIs at once on screen before there's a frame rate drop. So if there's 25-ish, the frame rate of the game will drop. Now, people who are anti-Sony or just don't think before they say things are turning this into the biggest thing in the world. Oh my god, only 24 enemies on screen. That's terrible. The Dead Rising 3 for the Xbox One's gonna have 60 million enemies on screen. Even though they're zombies and have probably much simpler AI and aren't as complicated, but let's take this as an excuse to totally shit on Sony. Yeah! So what the hell am I talking about? Let me get to the point. So, Guerrilla Games lead designer Eric Bolche, whatever, another name I tried to look up and got multiple different ways to say it. He was talking about the improvements that you're going to see with Next Gen and Killzone Shadowfall, and he was going through a list of things, but he said it's not just about the graphics, it's about what they can actually do now in the game, and this is what he was talking about. He was talking about enemy AI. This is what he had to say. For me as a game designer, what I was really interested in was getting more gameplay elements on screen. More enemy types at the same time, more weapon types, bigger areas. For me, that gives us a lot more ingredients to play around with. Previously, we were limited. You could have 6 or 7 guys on screen, only 2 types, and it had to be a specific range. The ability to throw more on screen has allowed us to open up much more and enabled us to create more open gameplay bubbles, meaning hopefully this generation we won't have as many corridor shooters because they have more RAM now, and the world will be more expansive. So, I mean, I'm playing like Fear 3 right now to review, and if you wanted the epitome of a corridor shooter, it's just like an 8-hour long hallway. It's not a horrible game, don't get me wrong, but you could tell they either were lazy or dealing with limitations. So hopefully with these new systems with the huge amounts of memory, we won't see as many corridor shooters. So like I said in the beginning of the video, what I find funny is there's so many fanboys and haters and people who are just trying to stir up drama that are making this into such a big deal. Only 24 enemies on screen. Oh my god. The Xbox One with Dead Rising 3 can have 8 bazillion enemies, or I think it's like 50 or something like that. But anyway, that's besides the point. Let's do some math here. Let's some stone cold hard facts. They both have 8-core processors, the Xbox One and the PS4. The PS4, if anything, has a more powerful graphics processor, and it has faster RAM, and at worst, it's slightly more powerful to what I've read in other articles, 50% more powerful than the Xbox One. So you think if Killzone Shadowfall was on the Xbox One, they'd be able to put more enemy AI on screen at once without a frame rate drop? No, if anything, it'll be worse off. Maybe they could put a couple less enemies, or maybe it would be exactly the same. But if you're trying to take this article to make the Xbox One seem more powerful, that's ridiculous, because we know for a fact that's not true. I don't get, like, why is this such a big deal? It's not a big deal at all. That's a lot. Think about it this way. And you guys know I've questioned if the next-gen hardware is powerful enough. Imagine having 24 enemies on screen all shooting at you at once with full AI. That would be a shit ton of a challenge, man. You'd be shitting yourself. That's a lot of enemies attacking you at once. Come on. Are you really saying that's not enough? That would make the game damn hard, having 24 intelligent enemies coming after you with different AI patterns. So look, there are plenty of reasons to point fingers at Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. But 24 enemies on screen with full AI is actually impressive. Think about it. Alright guys, make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and as always, thank you for supporting Review Tech USA. Have a good one.